Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I'm going to be doing another video in my It's Complicated series. And the topic for this video is going to be about the idea of cancel culture. Now you might have seen this coming as I did ask for opinions on Instagram and I got a few, which has been really helpful to me, and I am going to kind of share some of those thoughts and expand upon those. This series is just to talk about difficult topics in the beauty community, in the YouTube community, and so I just want to have a discussion of what I feel my thoughts are, and if you have any differences or similarities, feel free to share them with me in the comments. So I'm just gonna get started. So pardon the people taking care of snow outside. I thought that since it's almost 8 o'clock at night, you know, that might not be a thing, but it is. So anyway, I want to start off with the idea of what is cancel culture. So I think cancel culture is the idea that when one brand or person makes a mistake in the eyes of the public, they are automatically deemed canceled and not worthy of support from the general public, especially on social media. This is a phenomenon that I feel like exists almost exclusively to social media culture, especially with the fact that even if you delete something, it's on the internet forever because of screenshots. Now, here's what I feel like people are worried about when they talk about cancel culture. I think that there is this human fear that when you make a mistake, you can never be redeemed, or that there's nothing you can do to make yourself a good person in the eyes of the rest of the world again. And so there's that fear that stems from cancel culture and social media, that if one person does something, that triggers a fear response in ourselves too. It's just like, what if I said something wrong and like people were never able to forgive me, or if I had to stop doing YouTube or whatever, and there's the kind of like anxiety spiral that comes with that. And I think there's also the fear that things could be fabricated about someone that you like, or about yourself even, and you can never get your name cleared, essentially. So basically what I'm here for in this video is I want to talk about, like, is cancel culture really a thing? Because I hear a lot of people talking about it, and in my experience it seems that other people think it's a lot more prevalent than it actually is to me. So while I understand where people are coming from, I don't really see cancel culture being like a thing, or at least being as big of a thing as people make it out to be. And so overall, the reason why I have trouble seeing cancel culture as a thing is that the fact that people like Jeffree Star have said and done really problematic things / continue to do so with the way they conduct themselves on social media, and they still have very successful careers, and brands like Too Faced are still doing really well even after the whole Rich Lives Matter thing. It gives me pause as to how prevalent cancel culture is. I mean, like, even like the Gerard Cosmetics thing that happened in 2015, y'all remember that? Probably don't, because so many people are still supporting a brand that bullies people for not liking their products. And that's kind of a problem that I see, is that even though we think that cancel culture and outrage culture is such a big thing, and it seems that way in the moment, people forget really easily. In fact, the only people who I've really seen that were actually like canceled long term, and that's even just within the past few months essentially, are like Kat Von D and Laura Lee, and kind of Tarte too a bit. And even then, I do kind of wonder if Kat Von D's downfall wasn't actually due to like the things that she's said and done, even though I like to think that consumers as a whole care about the people that they buy things from espousing harmful views. I do also wonder if that actually had more to do with the fact that the quality of her products have really gone downhill, which was even admitted by some of her loyal fans. Like I've said in previous videos, this is not to say that people shouldn't be like redeemed, but I think it's a really good thing that we are being considerate of who we give our money to. And while I think that the beauty community as well as consumers as a whole are becoming more socially aware of how our money and support can have an impact on the harmful things going on in society, I still feel like we're in a place where a lot of people either don't know about the scandals that go on in the community, or rather just not pay attention to those sorts of things and just kind of have fun with the makeup as kind of setting apart the art from the artist kind of a thing. So all of this is not to say that I don't think that people can change, but rather that it's not so much cancel culture so much as people finally being held accountable for the ways that they've done. Oh my, why now? See, even the snowplowers want to silence me. all of this is not to say that I don't think that people can change, but rather that it's not so much cancel culture so much as people finally being held accountable. That's kind of how I'm feeling on cancel culture. A couple of people, when I asked for opinions on Instagram, shared a really good point with me that a lot of the ways that cancel culture comes about actually really has a direct impact essentially on people of color. So in thinking about the things that people have been quote unquote canceled for are, I feel like what happened with Kat Von D, it was largely due to her anti-vax views that came to the front and then later her anti-Semitism. I feel like people might have known about her anti-Semitism, but, you know, chose to ignore that. But then there are people like Jeffree Star who, yes, he's apologized and we've been through that and people can be redeemed in making changes, but I don't think he's really made changes because he continues to bully people on Twitter, especially women of color, by calling Jackie Aina certain names and things of that nature. So I do kind of wonder how much of a racial aspect goes into it too. So why do we excuse people for certain things and cancel them for other things? Not to say that being an anti-vaxxer isn't a cancelable offense. So like, why don't we take the voices of women of color seriously enough that we consider their points as valid and their oppression as valid? So I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at when I say that I don't like the term cancel culture. It's because it often frames the impact on the person who had done the harm as more important than the people who were impacted by the harm that person had done. And that's a huge problem that I have with it, is that it centers the feelings of someone who has millions of subscribers and a whole bunch of money and brands and have really successful careers against people who might not have that same social and monetary standing. I think in order for us to have a more ethical standard in our beauty community, we do need to start framing our scandals and our harm in terms of who is impacted by the harm done rather than by the people who are doing the harm. So I think that's all what I wanted to cover. If any of you want to expand on some of the points, I know that some of y'all are probably going to be watching this video, let me know down below. I mean, personally, I feel as though if a brand or a person says or does something really harmful and does not make the change and apologize for it, I don't understand why they shouldn't be canceled, even though, like I said, most of them kind of go on to still do the same big fancy brand things and big fancy YouTuber things as they did before. I guess I just don't get why people have such a problem with me not giving my money to people who I don't trust, you know? I was trying to end this video and then I got off on another tangent. I think I'm just gonna end it here. Let me know down below. As always, please be nice to each other. We're a nice community. We can have civil discussions with each other, and this video isn't to berate anybody who has different views than me, and so we shouldn't be doing that in the comments either. We can all respect each other. It is just makeup. I am here because I like to put pretty sparkly things on my face, and I also care about social justice. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me, and I'll see you on my next one. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye. So all of this is not to say that I don't think that people can change, but rather that it's not so much cancel culture so much as people are finally being held accountable for the ways that they've done, and like continually Jesus Christ, even my own mouth. All of this is not to say that I don't think that people can change, but rather that it's not so much cancel culture so much as people finally being held accountable for the ways that they've freaking. Oh my god. This looks really nice on my Google Doc. Why won't it come out of my mouth right?